So as you all know, Trump has been following the authoritarian playbook. One of the things he did, which was a real eye-opener to me, is he started targeting specific law firms. Now, these law firms in the past have represented opponents of his. They've represented Democrats. They've come after him for various reasons. And so he decided, I'm going to sign executive orders targeting these people, stripping them of whatever clearance they have for classified information, et cetera, not allowing them in federal government buildings. He has all these different ways, all these different tools as president to target people or target institutions. So he signed some executive orders going after specific law firms. Well, guess what? A lot of these law firms just fucking caved. And they said, sir, what do we have to do to get you to not target us? Using literal lawfare, which is a thing Trump pretended to be again 7 minutes ago, because he pretended that when people were holding him accountable for actual crimes, it was lawfare. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You just commit a lot of fucking crimes. So he targets these people, and a lot of them fold. And so now he's getting $40 million of free pro bono legal work over here, another $100 million from this other law firm that he targeted. And he's positively giddy about the fact that he can twist everybody's arm and put pressure wherever he wants to put it, and he's getting his way. This is why you never cave to fascism. This is why you never compromise with fascism. They need to see a fucking united front, and they need to know, you're not going to get away with this shit. It's the same reason that all these media outlets that Trump sued, and then a bunch of them were like, oh, we'll pay you $18 million or something. Please stop suing us. What the fuck are you doing? I don't care if it costs more money than that. Fight it in court. Stand on principle. Stand for the Constitution. Stand for free speech and a free press. But they're cucks. And it all comes... Why? Why are they making the decision? Guys, you got to call it what it is. Capitalism. Hey, we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to lose the clients that we do have. We don't want to be in a prolonged legal battle. We need to care about the bottom line and the profit motive. So what's the easiest way? Go along to get along. Look, if for 4 years we got to fucking tuck our tail between our legs and eat shit and say, okay, sir, whatever you say, sir, we'll lay off of you and we'll help you or whatever. But please, let us keep our prestigious position in the hierarchy, right? And let us keep the money flowing. And that's what they're doing. And so we've seen academia like Columbia University. They've cucked themselves. A lot of these law firms, they've cucked themselves. A lot of these media outlets, they've cucked themselves. And so it's a dark, dark time because, and there's a great old quote, I don't remember who said it, but basically the idea is like, the compliance of the public is the real threat during an authoritarian takeover. It's not even that, the government can successfully round up everybody who disagrees and lock them up. It's that everybody pre-complies because, hey, I don't want to be the next victim. I don't want to be the one that's targeted next. So I'll just go along to get along and we'll do this the easy way. And everybody starts to self-censor and capitulate to the authoritarians, right? Okay, we're ready? Here we go. One of the few outlets that are actually standing up to Trump and standing up to Elon, it's the judiciary. It kind of puts us in a weird position because there's a lot of stuff about the judiciary where I do think they're judicial supremacists and judicial extremists, and they have crossed the line a number of times where they override the plain face reading of the law. A good example is when they slapped down Biden's student loan debt reduction. It's like they're being activists and they're not actually following the law. Biden did have the right to wipe out however much he wanted that was owned by the federal government. But I said this early on too, in like leading into Trump's second term. I said, we're going to be in a weird position because they are actually going to be some of our biggest allies. Because even though a lot of these judges are like Federalist Society types, and even though they're like Mitt Romney-style conservative Republicans, none of them want to, for example, shred the Constitution completely. None of them want to get rid of due process rights. None of them want to throw out the First Amendment and the history of case law on free speech. Like, they're conservative, but to the extent that, okay, we want to let big business get away with most of what they want to get away with. That's the sort of conservative they are. They're not the conservative of, hey, Mussolini was based, right? And so now judges are standing up to Trump on a regular basis. So look at this from the Daily Beast. 2 judges brutally slapped down Trump's revenge war on lawyers. 2 federal judges have slammed the brakes on President Donald Trump's revenge campaign on the law firms that investigated him. The Friday rulings blocked the punishments that Trump levied in executive orders targeting Jenner and Block and Wilmer Hale, according to the New York Times. The orders had sought to bar the firm's lawyers from federal buildings, meetings, and jobs. District Court Judge John Bates, who ruled in the Jenner and Block case, called Trump's executive order targeting the firm disturbing and troubling. Soon after issuing the ruling, Bates was joined by District Court Judge Richard Leon, who imposed a similar restraining order on behalf of Wilmer Hale. Trump targeted the firm for employing Robert Mueller, the special counsel who investigated Trump's ties to Russia. So because they employed Robert Mueller, he's like, I'm going to do lawfare against you. I'm coming after you. The judges have permitted the Trump administration to strip security clearances from lawyers at the firms, however. In addition to these two firms, another targeted by the president, Perkins Coie, is that how you say that? I don't know, has won an early legal battle against him. Last week, a judge blocked Trump's most severe sanctions against the firm. The administration's bid to disqualify the judge in question, Beryl Howell, whom they allege is biased and against Trump, has also failed. Some firms, though, such as Skadden, Arps, Slate, Meagher and Flom, get the fuck out of here, has opted to make a deal with Trump rather than face an anticipated executive order. The company agreed to conduct $100 million worth of pro bono legal work for the president's administration, Trump said Friday, admitting it was essentially a settlement. Skadden will also, it sounds dirty, will also offer fellowships to law school graduates working on MAGA-aligned projects and has eliminated its initiatives aimed at diversity, equity, and inclusion. A representative for the firm told The Times that it looked forward to a productive relationship with Trump. Jesus Christ. We firmly believe that this outcome is in the best interest of our clients, our people, and our firm. Yeah, there you go. So, money. The firm, Paul, Weiss, Rifkind, Wharton, and Garrison also cut a deal with Trump rather than fight a legal battle. It agreed to do $40 million in pro bono work. Earlier this week, Trump bragged about his successful shakedowns. They're all bending and saying, "Sir, thank you very much," he said, and added that they were asking, "Where do I sign? Where do I sign?" So the courts are like the last bastion of anybody being like, no. And the scary part is, as you all know, they have no enforcement mechanism. So as a court, you are dependent on the goodwill of the other branches of government to go, okay, we'll submit to your ruling. And we've already seen evidence of them ignoring some court rulings. They followed some others, but they've ignored plenty. And so they're standing up and fighting back against it. But guys, the takeaway is inevitable at this point. The people need to rise up. You need mass protests in the streets. We need to start organizing a general strike because nobody's going to stop them. Nobody's going to fucking stop them. And they need a defiant and non-compliant grassroots of the country to basically rise up and say, not on our watch, we're not doing this shit. And we need our list of demands, and we need to hold them accountable. Because seemingly all that's with us is the judicial branch. Obviously, the Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, so the legislative branch is sort of locked up. The executive branch is gone, obviously. Trump's in charge. So all there is the judicial branch, which is sort of toothless to one extent or another. And outside of that, all that's left is the people. That's literally all that's left. And everybody's busy. Everybody's got their own thing going on. Everybody's got their own lives. But, you know, how many bright red lines need to be crossed before everybody sort of wakes up and goes, hold on? Because there are no guardrails. There's no rules. They do whatever the fuck they want, knowing they're going to completely get away with it. So we already live in what's effectively a dictatorship. And the longer we let it go, the worse off it is. So we need mass protests. We need a general strike. People need to wake up and say, we've had enough, and it's time for this to end. And unfortunately, I think we're in for a long haul of basically horrifying nightmare-like scenarios because I don't see the checks thus far working. And that is a chilling thought. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.